also took this really fun course called The History of Science, and let me tell you, liberal arts majors were not ready for this. The direction of scientific pursuit has always been linked to cultural values. Thought that was going to fall. As capitalist values are increasing, this is directly related to the rise of the pharmaceutical industry. In terms of anatomy, during the period of Aristotle's anatomy, which was in the 2nd and 3rd century, testes were the name for both male and female genitalia, which was indicative of the cultural view at the time that they were complementary pieces of the same system. The uterus was just an anterior scrotum, and both genitalia produced sperm for the purpose of creating new life. During the medieval ages, between the 4th and the 17th century of the Common Era, the Christian Crusades moved through Europe. In the 16th century, Italian anatomists were working on sexual anatomy. There was a man whose name I cannot pronounce, but his last name is De Carpi, and he noticed that masculine form and behavior is almost completely changed when you cut off the testicles. Another dude, Vesalius, described the uterus as having horns. The guy that Falloppio discovered the fallopian tube, not its function. There was a Dutch microbiologist that discovered actual sperm in the late 17th century, and he named them animalcules. He believed that life came from males to be incubated in the females. And it's true, sperm are really weird. When you start to think about how sperm behave and you compare it to all other cells ever, they're very, very strange little dudes. The function of the fallopian tube was discovered by another Dutch anatomist, de Graaf, around the same time, end of the 17th century. He was the first to conclude that the follicle contained the oocyte, the egg. Then this was confirmed by a molecular German dude in the 18th century. The direction of scientific research has always been directly related to contemporary cultural values. It's impossible to remove social values of the time from the study of gender and sexual differences. It's impossible to isolate gender identity from cultural identity. The roles we take on in any group exist in relation to others in the group, or the group itself. In the same way, masculine and feminine principles only exist in relative to each other, yin and yang. Behaviors that we associate with gender are tied to cultural and linguistic definition. There's even a whole TED Talk about how people that speak languages with gender associate certain things with certain traits because they're masculine or feminine. Everything that happens is a matter of happenstance, society, and history. But free will is the gift of human existence. We can choose who we want to be, even if society doesn't necessarily reward it. Each of us is allowed to construct our own beauty, what we like, what we want to present. And a society that allows for self-expression must also be responsible for protecting self-expression. A tolerant society does not tolerate intolerance. It would be counterproductive. Consent, respect, and communication are the only way to end the violence associated with discrimination.